Good morning, guys. I hope we're all sparkly. In principle, testosterone replacement therapy should be free if you need it, if you have a clinical deficiency, because testosterone is fundamental to normal physiology, how your body functions. So surely you have the right to free treatment because you're under the NHS. Everything's free. Nothing's free. Come on. So the NHS was funded on the principle of need. This is when people were literally dying in the streets. We now live in a super healthy, wealthy population, don't we, guys? No. So we've chased the wrong thing, haven't we? We've chased success. Success that means you are a better version in this perverse modern civilized world, but not a healthier version of the person you should be. So we now need to concentrate on the fundamentals. So it's likely your low testosterone has not been because of a pathology. It might have been, but you still haven't done everything right because you didn't understand what you should be doing. We did what we did because it was fun and we were led to believe that's the correct right path to take. But no. So yeah, you pay your national insurance. So when you need TRT, you should be given TRT. It's not really the point behind national insurance. So when you're paying into the NHS, you're paying for everybody. Well, it's all me, 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 me. And we live in a very entitled society, don't we? So it's all me, 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 me. I've paid this much. But what about that poor kid with cystic fibrosis that needs a heart and lung transplant? She's not related to me, so I don't care. Well, humanity. We should be looking after everybody. So fundamentally, what you pay into the NHS is for everybody. Now, it's safe to say there are lots of health inequalities. Lots and lots and lots. And we should be governed by a government and a healthcare system that acts in our best interest as an individual. But it's not, is it? It's acting in the best interests of a collective and a very loud minority that harp up all the time. So as men, we put up and we shut up and we get on with things because nobody cares, work harder. Again, boiling down to we need to take personal responsibility for our health because nobody else is going to do it for us. And ultimately, you taking personal responsibility will mean anything you do, any change that happens is yours. So run with it. Look after your stress, your sleep, your nutrition, your exercise, your mindset. Sorry, a bit mucky. I have to lift Maddie into the car now. She's getting a bit elderly. So, what are we talking about? Yeah, free. So lots of my guys come to me and they say, I wish I'd come to see you years ago. And the answer to that question is no, probably not, because you weren't as motivated and determined to improve. So if you go to the doctor with low testosterone and you've only had the symptoms for a while, doctor gives you free testosterone, you don't place the appropriate value to what you're being given, and that is a second chance. But I want you guys to consider this as a last chance, because if you apply this is a second chance, there's a third chance, there's a fourth chance. So you're not applying the level of severity that you need to apply to your therapy. Because as we said before, we're physical beings in a world full of psychological stress. And our psychology is not really working for us. It's working against us because we don't know what's going on. And fundamentally, we need to go back to physiology. I was talking to a guy yesterday about the polyvagal theory. We were talking about the fact that we can learn everything that we need to learn from nature because after all, we are animals. And if you don't believe that, you're an idiot. So hunter-gatherer, we wake up, we hunt, we're more sympathetic dominant, we earn our food, and then we take it back to the tribe to become more parasympathetic, to be more restful, and then we sleep, and then we repeat day, night, day, night, day, night. So these traumas that happen to us on a day-to-day basis, minimal things, big things. They can lead to things like PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. And we need to understand, again, physiology. We need to understand the polyvagal theory. Now, we've spoken about the autonomic nervous system before, haven't we? We've got your sympathetic system, fight, flight, and your parasympathetic system, rest, relaxation. But it's obviously more complicated than that. Again, they're never exclusively sympathetic, never exclusively parasympathetic. So the good example of that is nighttime when you're asleep, and these guys with obstructive sleep apnea. And this is obviously passage of air through your airways, and it's becoming turbulent. And obviously your oxygen saturations are going to drop, and your catecholamines, so your sympathetic nervous system is going to be firing. It may not wake you up, but it's preparing to wake you up. And again, you don't get good sleep, and you wake up unrefreshed, and you don't feel good. And it cascades on and on and on. So the autonomic nervous system is so important. And as we said before, we tend to control it through breath, if you're clever. And if you're not clever, you control it through eating, comfort eating. But it's not this simple. Sympathetic, parasympathetic. There is the third arm. There's the dorsal vagal part of this nervous system. And this happens when you get sympathetic overload and overload and overload and overload. And that's what causes these dissociative states. Now, the example that we're going to use from a nature perspective is a gazelle in the grips of a lion's mouth. It's facing certain death. So what's it going to do? Is it going to fight and fight and fight and fight because it's facing certain death? No, what it does is it switches to this dorsal vagal nerve. It's sort of a reptilian part of our nervous system. And it goes limp, doesn't feel pain. Essentially, it still has a blood supply to the major organs, but it's limp. And you can see that in the David Attenborough films. They go limp. Why do they go limp? Because they're not dead yet. Because there's the chance. There's the chance to survive if the lion gets distracted, if the lion gives the gazelle to the cubs and the cubs mess around and do what cubs do, it might escape. That's why you see that shake when they get up, the sympathetic overload. It's like, boom, I have a chance, I have a chance. So it's the same thing with us, but we need to apply that level of severity to our testosterone replacement therapy. That sounds very melodramatic, doesn't it? Yeah, but I want you to apply that level of severity to it because I want you to be the best version of yourselves. I want you to appreciate what you've been given, and that is a second chance that you should apply the principles of a last chance to, and do try and be the best version of yourself. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to go out and do ice baths and gym and do all the things that we talk about. Ultimately, it's your journey, but it is your journey. So I do have some patients that just are happy with testosterone replacement therapy, still chunky monkeys, they're happy, so good for them. But again, it's always trying to be better. So when you say testosterone replacement should be free, we don't apply any value to things that are free, which is really quite disappointing, isn't it? Because the best things in life are free. Nature, the sunrises, sunsets, the list goes on. And what else is free? This. So we don't listen to mainstream media. We don't listen to negativity. Bat that stuff away. Go back to basics, because the basics are where you're going to find a semblance of peace. And then you can move on to the psychological things and existential things. Wow, yeah, how interesting. But if we concentrate on the basics, you will be a better human being. You will see life as a wonderful playground, but you will see it as a playground to what? Earn your reward by being a productive member of society, seeing things as opportunities, not challenges. There's a wonderful Carl Jung quote that I'm going to put in the description because I'm going to absolutely muller it, because it is about taking those chances. Testosterone has a relationship with dopamine, as we said before. You're reward driven. Earn your reward. Testosterone impacts the amygdala, which means we're less risk adverse. Is why men are primarily the hunters, the inventors, the explorers. Women can do it too, But sexually, from a sex perspective, gender, men, get out there and do what? Earn your reward. I'm going to do a little edit because I want to memorize that quote. And so you're going to hear that in 3, 2, 1. For the hero, fear is a challenge and a task because only boldness can deliver from fear. And if the risk is not taken, the meaning of life is somehow violated. And the whole future is condemned to a hopeless staleness, to a drab grey lit by will-o'-the-wisps. Profound stuff, but it's all about what? Yeah, you guessed it. Earning your reward.